Chapter 25. Secretly Holding Hands in the Movie Theater. The next day when Ava woke up, she received a message from Ju Shun. She sat in the wicker chair on the balcony, staring at that message for a long time without coming back to her senses. She remembered the first time she met Ju Shun. It was at the hospital. She had heard from a friend in the study abroad circle that Ju Shun had fainted from practicing dance and been hospitalized. She had always worked very hard at dancing since childhood, and though she sometimes got injured, it had never been this serious. Out of curiosity, she went to take a look. Then she saw Ju Shun's severely deformed feet. Ballet dancing would more or less cause this problem for everyone. Ju Shun's case was obviously the most severe she had ever seen. Later, she discovered they were actually at the same school. Then, they both got hired by the same dance company. It could be said that Ju Shun was the person who accompanied her from obscurity to brilliant glory. A faint sigh dispersed in the morning air. She replied with a message saying, "I respect your choice," and put away her phone. She went downstairs for breakfast and happened to run into Grace. "Sister!" Ava's face lit up with a sweet smile. Grace gently hummed in acknowledgement, her brow showing undisguisable joy. She sat down across from Ava. When drinking her milk, the corners of her eyes lifted high. This happy, sweet appearance was somewhat jarring for Ava to watch. Ava took a sip of the iced Americano that Mrs. Quinn had specially prepared for her, the bitter, cold coffee liquid stimulating her taste buds as she smiled to cover it up. She picked up the hard-boiled egg from her plate and gently tapped it twice on the table. While peeling the eggshell, she asked, "Sister, are you going on a date with Adrian today? You look so happy." Mrs. Quinn, who was placing toast beside Ava's hand, silently scoffed in her heart upon hearing this. This Adrian Pierce was just shameless. First with the younger sister, then getting together with the older sister. A faint shyness rose in Grace's heart. Adrian said since it's Saturday today, we're going to see a movie. Ava brought the hard-boiled egg to her mouth and took a small bite, chewing slowly. At the same time, she observed Grace's expression. Just watching a movie. To be this happy about it, her good sister really had no ambition at all. "What movie are you seeing?" Ava asked casually. Her words made Grace pause in her chewing. Seeing that Grace didn't respond for a while, Ava didn't miss the barely perceptible panic in Grace's eyes. Ava smiled and pressed her lips together. "I have a date today too, but haven't decided what movie to watch yet." "I wanted to ask what sister is watching, as a reference." Grace's hands, which had been clenched under the table, slowly relaxed. She seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. Then she probed, "With the second young master of the Hale family?" Ava: "No." Grace's pupils contracted slightly, clearly surprised by her sister's answer. Then she thought it might be that her sister had made plans with female friends. Ava very kindly cleared up her confusion. "I agreed to an invitation from a male suitor." Grace made a sound of surprise. She was quite shocked. She hesitated, wanting to speak but stopping herself. Finally, she still spoke. "Ava, don't you like the second young master of the Hale family?" Ava shook her head. "He's quite nice. I like him well enough." "Then you?" Grace's delicate brows furrowed slightly as she kindly advised, "Since you like him, you should get along well with him. If he finds out you're dating other men, it might affect your relationship." "Sister, I'm currently single. Who I want to date is my right." Ava raised an eyebrow. "Not everyone is like you, sister, devoted to only Adrian since childhood." Grace tugged at the corner of her mouth. A faint embarrassment rose in her heart. She had harbored unrequited love for Adrian for many years, even when he used to be her sister's boyfriend. She still couldn't control her feelings. "Sister, take your time eating. I'm going upstairs to do my makeup." Before leaving, Ava smiled and said, "I hope sister and Adrian have a pleasant weekend." When the movie theater darkened, Ava crouched down and walked to her seat. Ian followed closely behind and sat beside her. What she had told Grace about having a date today was true. She had a date with Ian. Ian kept sending messages every day, as if he had returned to when he was pursuing her, persistent and unwilling to listen to rejection. As soon as she sat down, she met eyes with Adrian on her left. Their eyes met, and she curved her lips in a smile, as if silently saying to him, "What a coincidence." Actually, it wasn't a coincidence at all. She had done it on purpose. This morning at the breakfast table, she had gotten some information out of Grace. then bought tickets for the same showing. Adrian coldly withdrew his gaze. Ava didn't mind. She supported herself on the armrest with one hand, leaning her upper body to the left. She looked past Adrian at Grace's profile as she focused intently on the big screen. Looking down, she saw hands clenched tightly on her legs. So nervous. Wanting to hold hands but not daring to. They didn't look at all like a couple who had been dating for a year. Ava. Ava's arm was suddenly pulled. Her body had to sit upright due to gravity. She turned to look at Ian and warned in a low voice. Watch the movie. Don't look at me and don't touch me randomly. Don't get so close to him. He'll take advantage of you. Ian pouted. Shortly after returning to the country, he had learned about Ava and Adrian's relationship. When he found out Adrian was Ava's first love, he was extremely jealous. He only regretted not meeting Ava earlier. But at the same time, he was very disgusted with Adrian. After breaking up with Ava, he actually got together with Ava's own sister. What a nauseating person, especially the way he had just looked at Ava. Cold and mixed with faint mockery. Ian couldn't tolerate anyone looking at Ava with such eyes. If it weren't in the movie theater, if it weren't in front of Ava, he would never let it slide. His girlfriend is beautiful and classy, sitting right next to him. What advantage could he take of me? Ava soothingly patted Ian's head, indicating he shouldn't speak anymore and disturb others. Ian knew Ava's temper and didn't speak anymore, just nuzzled her palm, like a very obedient puppy acting cute with its owner. Adrian caught sight of their movements from the corner of his eye, and his lip pressing became more forceful. He withdrew his peripheral vision and focused his attention on the movie. Less than 3 seconds later, his wrist tightened as his hand slipped down from his leg, and boneless fingers squeezed in to interlock with his 10 fingers. Adrian's pupils contracted slightly, his dark eyes flashed with some astonishment. He tried to pull his hand back twice, but couldn't. He shifted his gaze to the side, originally wanting to use his eyes to warn Ava to let go. But she wasn't looking at him at all. She was leaning against the chair back, watching the movie intently, as if nothing had happened. Adrian took a deep breath and was about to speak when Grace on his left turned to look over. He quickly hid the interlocked hands he had just pulled up. Grace gave him a concerned look. Adrian tugged at his lips. At this moment, his palm was suddenly scratched. The gentle touch made his whole body instantly freeze, like a volcanic eruption, suddenly ignited.